What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about Magnus and how this hero has been taking over your pubs, and you guys should see how popular the hero is pretty much across all MMR brackets and pretty much in any position the hero is dominating. I think support is his weakest position, but if you guys are support Magnus mains, you know how much value you can get from the hero. However, it is pretty difficult to play as support, but from the core line, whether it's safe lane, mid lane, or off lane, the hero is just doing very well across all MMR. It is one of the most popular heroes right now in this patch, and for a good reason. The hero just right clicks like an absolute beast and is very hard to stop for the amount of farm the hero can get early on. The hero can come online faster than most carries can, and that's one key addition that the hero has in its favor. Also, his facet, Eternal Empowerment, which means you always have empower on. Each hit subsequently increases that empower damage. That is super important because you like to build items like Echo Saber, so your stacks are going to be high all the time, and you like building items like Mask of Madness just to increase the amount of damage and cleave you're going to be doing, even though I feel like some games Mask of Madness should be skipped, as it can feel quite tough and you might need to be able to skewer out of position and not always silence yourself. So in games where you feel like you don't need the Mask of Madness and it's going to hinder you a lot more than it's going to benefit you, then go for items like Orchid or finish up your Harpoon a lot faster. But overall, the hero is dominating most of the matchups in the mid lane, dominating most of the matchups in the safe lane as well, and is a really good hero if you guys want to pick up a hero that you want to climb that's not that hard to play on. Now, right click Magnus is actually very easy to play. However, when you're playing to skewer and you're playing to land very good RPs and stuff, that can be difficult. Magnus can be one of these heroes that has a super high skill ceiling, but playing right click Magnus can be played by almost anyone. It is fairly easy. However, you're not going to be getting good skewers, your shockwave is not going to be optimal, and you just need to learn this stuff if you really want to play this hero to its optimum potential. But if you're just trying to play a new right click core, Magnus is your guy, as he's fairly simple in the right click role. But once you have to start landing massive skewers into base, or if you want to go for your Aghanim Scepter and go for Horn Toss, then you have to be a good Magnus player to do that. Me personally, I'm more in the middle. I'm not an amazing Magnus player, but I'm also not trash at him, so I'm kind of in the middle there. That leaves me in a happy medium where I could still win games on right click Magnus, but if right click Magnus wasn't the thing, I wouldn't really be picking the hero, as I'm not that interested in the playstyle of the hero. But I think a lot of players realize how good the hero is and started picking him up, and I've seen players that really didn't like Magnus before, and I've started picking him up just for the sake of having that flexibility where they can go for this playmaker style, build a blank dagger, build an Aghanim Scepter, and go around the map creating chaos, or they can be a secondary carry from the mid lane and have a ton of farm and back up your carry that might be having a pretty tough game, and you can make up that difference very easily on the hero. And even if your carry can't hold its weight, Magnus can easily scale into the late game and create havoc, and RP is always going to be one of the best ultimates in the game that can synergize very well with heroes like Invoker with his Cataclysm. Could also set up for Enigma's Black Hole, could also set up for stuff like Mortimer's Kisses. The ultimate is extremely versatile and is one of the best in the game for a reason. So landing big RPs is going to be a big part of winning a lot of these team fights, and especially with how popular Invoker is, if you land a huge RP into Cataclysm, it's going to pretty much guarantee that all the people that you RP'd are going to die to the Cataclysm, and that is very important to have such a key ability. Let's talk about the build. So typically Magnus players right now are building treads into Harpoon, or they'll go treads into Echo Saber into Mask of Madness, and that's going to help them farm. Some people on really tough games will get the Mask of Madness first to help them farm a bit faster, the Echo Saber, then finish the Harpoon. Some carry Magnuses don't actually get blink. It depends on the situation. If there's enough catch on your team, then you don't get the blink and you opt for items like Silver Edge. But if there is no catch on your team, then obviously you have to get the blink, but it's not something you want to pick up fairly early, and I'd rather have the Silver Edge anyway. I don't really like blink on Magnus carry. I just feel like you need more stuff. You could pick it up, however, on mid Magnus or offlane Magnus. That tends to be a little bit more of a playmaker. That fits him a lot better, but on carry mag, unless it's absolutely necessary, I don't like to pick a blink dagger. So hopefully there's enough catch on the team when you do pick the Magnus where you can build items like Silver Edge or even items like Butterfly. People are sleeping on Butterfly. It's such an underrated item. The amount of attack speed it's giving nowadays is percentage based, so it's so good. It's always going to be good on a hero like Mag that's already hitting super hard. A lot of these right click carries don't want to build MKB so quickly, and if you build a Butterfly on the Magnus, maybe fourth item, is going to be rough for these carries to go back for an MKB, and by that time you can still get so much value out of it. And then you can double back and go for items like Revenant's Brooch, which is pretty much the most popular item in the patch. It's super strong and it benefits Magnus quite a bit, especially with the Harpoon. That hit's going to be very hard. And then obviously if you guys need to go back for items like BKB or AC, you definitely could could go for that. They're very strong items on the mag, very versatile on the way you can play the hero. You can build a Bloodthorn on him. You can do so many things on the hero, which I like. So you can play him to your style and however you want to play the Magnus. If you want to be a playmaker, you build playmaker items. If you want to be just overall raw right click damage, you could do that as well. And both of the builds are working fairly well. It's just if you're playing carry, I recommend playing right click more. If you're playing mid, you can kind of do a hybrid where you have some damage, but you need that blink dagger to make those plays around the map. But when you're carry, you can be a lot more passive and you don't have to be as aggressive throughout the game until you're ready to go. Now let's talk about some of the best and worst matchups for Magnus. Some of the best matchups are Phantom Lancer, Broodmother, Marcy, Anti-Mage, Pudge. These matchups you do very well up against. You really don't struggle, especially from the mid lane against Pudge. You do very well. Pudge being obviously one of the most popular heroes in Dota, usually gets picked or banned. Doesn't matter what MMR you guys are playing, Pudge is one of those heroes that's always there. You do very well up against Pudge, especially because Pudge right now feels really good. So it's good to have a hero that's strong against Pudge, even though there's multiple heroes, but you can easily get countered on the mid Magnus if somebody picks like a Viper. I've played that matchup. It's so tough. Zeus as well, guys, is a tough matchup to go up against because Zeus just wants to cancel everything you want to do with his lightning bolt. And the fact that Zeus can kite you out, and if he gets a Yule Scepter or a Force Staff, you're not going to be having a good game on the mag. I really like that matchup. If I'm playing the Zeus, if I'm playing the Magnus, I'm not really going to be having a lot of fun there. And Viper just destroys everything you want to do on Magnus. So if you have no real good way of kiting or you have no real good counters to Viper on your team, it's going to feel like a pretty bad game for you to go up against the Viper. So try and build optimally to fully counter that hero, because even though Viper isn't the best hero in the meta right now, he's still always going to be good against melee heroes, especially right click melee heroes like Magnus. That is also part of the bad matchups, guys. Other bad matchups are Kez, Puck, Enigma, Troll Warlord, and Dazzle. Dazzle, super big hero this patch, one of the most broken heroes of the patch. So Dazzle does very well up against Magnus. Obviously, having his Nothel projection, he is able to hex you on his Q, and that is always going to be really good, especially without having Shard. Back in the day, you used to have to buy Shard on Dazzle to get that hex. Now you get it guaranteed on Nothel projection. Heroes like Troll Warlord just don't really care about your RP. If they can press ultimate, they will outlast your RP and they'll be able to just smoke you as soon as they get out. I love this matchup personally on Troll. I really like to play Troll Warlord from time to time when it's a good game, and if I do see a Magnus, I will not hesitate to pick it. But heroes like Puck are very tough for you to catch up to and can make your life a living hell. From the mid lane, you're going to be winning that lane. That's not even a problem. The problem is throughout the game, you're not going to be doing very well just because you don't have enough lockdown for the Puck, and you have to try and get items like Bloodthorn to try and counteract that. But obviously the Puck can get himself a Yules or a BKB, and then you're not going to be going for a whole lot there. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about Magnus this patch. Do you guys think the hero will get nerfed in the next patch? I think the hero is absolutely broken, and in the right hands being played by some of the best Magnus players in the world, I've been seeing some of the coolest interactions and how strong the hero really is, and coming out of some really tough situations. And it's good to see because Magnus hasn't been meta for a while, especially right click Magnus hasn't been a thing for such a long time, that I'm really having a lot of fun with the hero and going right click, because typically I wouldn't be playing Magnus a whole lot, and I really like going back to heroes that I haven't played in a long time. It really refreshes the meta. It makes things a lot more interesting rather than the typical cookie cutter heroes that you have to play that are meta. That's just not fun for me. I like playing off meta stuff. That's how it's always been, and climbing with off meta heroes for me personally is so much easier than climbing with meta heroes, just because people don't expect the pick, and if you know what you're doing with these off meta heroes, they won't know what's coming because they forgot about it. No one's playing these heroes, so they kind of forget how to counter these heroes, and that's one of the big advantages you have. If you're playing meta heroes, people pretty much know how to counter the hero and know how to play against it, but if they haven't seen a hero for months or maybe years, then they pretty much forgot how to counter the hero and or how good it can be in a patch. There's always a few secret broken heroes, and I'll be making a video about that soon that a lot of people have not focused on. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below and tell me if you guys love Magnus or hate Magnus. That is the question for today. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.